Hi guys, as you saw, having a 4-year-old and some cacti in the same room can prove to be a little dangerous. So I'm going to put all my cacti into a container so that it's safe both for my 4-year-old and for my cacti too. So this is the container that I've chosen. I will start by cleaning my container. See that your container is absolutely clean because once your cacti are in, it cannot be cleaned easily. So ensure that your container is cleaned properly. I'm misting it and I'm wiping it with a microfiber cloth, both inside and out. This is a goldfish bowl that I had bought from an aquarium shop. Okay, this is the first layer that goes in. You can use gravel or you can use pebbles. So I just start by placing my pebbles gently because it's a glass container. Going to be generous with putting our pebbles because we want to maximize the drainage. This will also help the soil substrate not to get too soggy. Next I will be putting the mesh in. I'll be cutting the mesh in a circular shape and I will be putting it in. This is mainly to separate my soil from the pebbles. So the cheaper option that I have taken here is I have bought some Netlon, which is mosquito netting, and I'm going to use that in the place of mesh. You can also use fridge bags, which are pretty cheap. I'm going to place the bowl on top of this. I'm just going to cut roughly and I'm going to make it smaller as I go because I don't want to make it too small. Okay, as you can see that my mesh is fitting pretty well. I think I'll have to cut 1 or maybe half an inch off it again. I think it's fitting pretty well. The next layer that will go in is gravel because my soil that I'll be using is a little fine and it will definitely slip through this mesh and go down to the bottom of the pot, which I don't want happening. So I'm going to put a layer of this gravel on top. It also helps to keep the mesh in place. Now I'll be putting my cactus potting mix. This cactus potting mix that I'm using has a perlite base. Try to be as gentle as you can because we don't want the glass getting dirty. You can have an uneven terrain or an even terrain as you like. I'm going for an even terrain. I'm compacting the soil so that it's easier for me to plant my cacti because the substrate is pretty sandy and I've found it a little difficult to keep the cacti propped up in the soil. You can handle most cacti without gloves, but I prefer wearing gloves because some cacti that I will be handling have very fine thorns. It's better if you wear gardening gloves. Now I didn't have any gloves handy, so I'm wearing rubber gloves. These are some of the cacti that I have prepared. I have removed it from their existing pots and I have kept them ready to plant. So we'll see how many I can fit into this terrarium. So I'm going to treat this as the front and this as the back. I'm going to keep my stones handy because I might need some to prop up my cacti. So as I'm going, I'll just give some of my cacti some support with some stones. It's also me adding decorations to the terrarium. I'm going to use this straw to blow out any bits stuck on the cactus. So since this is a tiny one, I'm going to place it somewhere in the front. You don't need to overcrowd your terrarium. You need to give your cacti enough space to grow because cacti multiply and they grow and fill out the terrarium. I'm putting a taller cactus to the side of the terrarium and the smaller ones, the shorter ones, to the front of the terrarium. I have to improvise as I go along because I really don't know how my terrarium is going to look in the end. So I have to keep making changes and keep placing some cacti, removing some cacti. Using a chopstick or a wooden skewer proves to be a very effective tool, especially when you're working with a terrarium.
I've chosen a light brown gravel for the top layer as it will give a desert feel to the terrarium. You can use a tiny spade or a small spoon to put this layer on and spread it evenly around the cacti. You can use a straw to blow out any pieces of gravel that is stuck on your cactus. Now it's time to add a few stones to add interest and to further decorate my cacti terrarium. And I have particularly chosen black stones because I wanted it to contrast with the soil and bring a little more interest and character to the bowl. Now here I'm using a little metal skewer to remove the little bits of gravel and sand stuck in between the thorns of my cactus. A good way to clean the glass bowl after you put your cacti in is using a piece of gauze on a piece of stick. I usually use a syringe to water my cacti. You have to aim the syringe at the roots of the cacti and you can saturate the roots with water. This is how you can go. Ensure that you water your cacti just once a week. Cacti don't need too much water to thrive. And when you use this syringe, you are also ensuring that the sand is not displaced. The sand that is on the top is not displaced.
Putting your cacti in a closed terrarium is a good idea if you have children or if you have pets. I usually don't leave my child unsupervised in the balcony. But still, I feel that I had to keep my cacti out of his reach. As children grow, you can definitely try to make them understand and tell them about how it is dangerous to handle cacti. The other benefit to keeping a closed terrarium is that it looks beautiful, it's unique and it has a charm of its own. So I really hope you like this video and I hope you try and make a closed terrarium of your own. Do let us know in the comment section if you've done something like this or if you've liked our video. Also please share, subscribe to our channel.
It got cut on the first video.
Got stuck. So this was the second take.
Yeah.
Yeah. You enjoyed?
Yeah.
Did you touch the cactus?
No.
Why? Why?